Both these drafts are fun, so frankly, I don't care who wins.
Nothing to say.
So doesn't matter who wins.
So we have game number 3 between SG Esports and Unknown. This game is going to be the tiebreaker a bit for them, as one team is going to have to get ahead. And SG Esports looking to get those 2, Foxy said, right after losing the game. Will they be able to do that, or will Unknown be able to regain the lead they lost last game? We'll see very shortly. Of course, this encounter is going to be casted by the ferocious duo of Foxy.
We are indeed ferocious and we're full of fun, right, Purge?
Rawr, yes, so fun.
Excellent. Well, I think we are going to have fun this game. I think we've got a lot of interesting things going on, especially coming out with the draft from SG, whereas we've got some more, you know, familiar things coming out from the side of Unknown. RoboZ on probably one of his favorite and maybe best heroes with that Ember Spirit. Pakaz, of course, has been playing so much of the Spectre. And then, of course, you have Sacred, who's going to be playing that Dragon Knight, so.
Another cool thing about the Invoker pick that they're doing is that the obviously builds Qualifiers into Spirit Vessel. That gives them anti-healing, which is Spirit Vessel's really good against this game. It's great against Spectre, it's great against Dragon Knight, it's great against Winter Wyvern. Limit those heals, so rather than force Mirana to have to build it fast, they have a hero that tempos really well with it and will transition well for in the late game. So much makes sense about the SG's last pick here.
30 seconds to battle.
But hey, if they misexecute or gank poorly or lose their lanes more than they should, it's the same situation as before. Their late game scaling is going to be a little bit weaker due to Spectre's power.
Absolutely. Be very important that Costabile is able to accelerate at a much more rapid pace, than game number 1. Hopefully the team will be able to follow him up, but otherwise, you know, Unknown. They are very familiar with this. Combo's going right up into the arms of the Arctic Burn. This is not looking good for our friend here. So a couple hits, not going to be enough to get the kill. Yolakor making his own rotation here. Trade a couple little hits here with Wish. Get some value clicks in at the very least. See the Impale coming out from Wish.
Regen on both sides. This is more expensive for Nyx, arguably, because he has less regen, but they'll both get healed back up. Tabo loses a teleport scroll, but takes a moment to buy himself an extra tango. He knows he's going to be bullied a lot here. He's like, hey, I got 2 free magic stick charges, suckers. Luck ganking me now.
Yes. How will they ever recover from giving him those 2 stick charges? But already you can see they are just clicking down Tabo. They have so much slow with that Arctic Bird, and Yolakor has already gone for that arrow play early on to try to secure one of those creeps. So
I thought that was funny. It's like Tabo was getting beat up over there, and Yolakor's like, let me get that range creep really quick. I saw him throw it. I was like, that's the worst arrow I've ever seen. I thought his range creep.
Spoil that.
Okay. Invoker double wagging the Ember here under his own tower. Doing a great job. Rosie's pretty low on HP here, and he's got decent last hits, but boy, that was a lot of regen harassment. He's just now walking out of South, so this is gonna hurt RoboZ here in the mid lane. Only a Fairy Fire, so now Invoker will get a bit of a last hit advantage. Got a tornado in 10 seconds. Maybe he can kill him, but probably not.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Definitely feels scary for RoboZ to go forward. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Wish taking a lot of damage here as well, sitting at 60-something hit points.
Part of that was the Mirana trading with him earlier. It makes it easier for Oracle to just spam him out. He just spams Fortune's End, uses Clarities and Mangoes, and lowers his HP enough where now he just doesn't get to do anything. He's going to secure a Water Rune because he's got to wait for his regen to come. So yeah, the Mirana trades earlier, very, very effective. Those boots are little weaknesses. You do not want to fight to the death and they get a kill.
The blade of axe has tasted first
because
blood.
You know why? Like you said, Wish took so much damage from that Mirana early on, and then he had to wander towards that Water Rune, that they saw the opportunity and they were able to take advantage of it. Look at this Angel sitting so low. That Crimson, oh, the Yolakor, he wanted it. Is gonna force Jensen to take his 2nd level here in the Cold Embrace to keep Angel alive.
not super surprising. You know, Spectre lanes, they love to have a healing support here. But
Dire's courier has been killed.
Not the Olacor getting the kill on the courier, but still a dead courier nonetheless.
got a little zone there.
ตัวเรียกว่าตัวขัน
That was actually so sacred stunned Axe, like all Drag Knights do right before Axe gets lasted on the range creep. But he spun while stunned, so he still got the lasted. That's what that tip's about. He's like, ah, sucker, you lost your mana for nothing.
Wish fulfilled.
It's always,
Feels bad
good.
for Sacred, but feels good for Costabile for sure. And I would say that this start is incredibly different for the side of SG, especially when you consider that Costabile is sitting at the top of CS 18 and 10 right now.
Dire's
Courier, it
courier
begins.
has been killed.
The Olacor, Slayer of Couriers,
Oh my god, and look at this.
sees himself another one.
The health is being delivered for Axe right now. They're just gonna leave him in this lane if they really want. Like, he's actually got so much space right now.
Radiant's
As soon as his
turret
Vanguard
has been
stuns,
killed.
literally nothing Dragon Knight can do to kill him. All he can complete happened again. He stuns Axe, and Axe gets a spin off. So lucky.
You get some vengeance here, revenge rather, for the
nice
couriers that the Olacor has slain. And Shasta did manage to take out the Olacor's own. Wish taking up the water in bottom. We'll
Radiant's
keep it away from the
courier has
Invoker,
been
who's still
killed.
sitting pretty topped off here, so doesn't feel too bad, but it does feel bad, of course, for RoboZ if he wasn't able to snap it up.
Like Nyx is gonna mess up the pull. Oh, he actually gets a partial pull here for the Oracle. That always
Dire's
great
middle
victory
tower
here. That should
is under
deny those
attack.
creeps or at least keep Nyx busy. He just took a lot of damage from these envenomed weapons. He could die here. Has he got him?
Do they have
Gotta
it?
follow
Can he
him.
get the Purifying Flames?
He's fast.
Fast, though. He got it.
Purifying Flames is so high. And man, look how much this is cascaded now, right? Like, gets zoned, they end up killing the Dragon Knight, then he fights those gnolls for so long, he loses a huge amount of health. And Oracle punishes it, gives him a lot of damage and gets that follow-up disable just barely, and gets a double stack off in the meantime. Mega efficiency here. And he doesn't even need to cover Axe. Axe has got Vanguard now, so maybe Oracle ganks mid, maybe Oracle, I don't know, goes somewhere else. They can take advantage of 5 minutes. So big.
Tornado and the EMP coming out with the root to hold him in place. RoboZ uses a Fairy Fire, but it's too much damage. And now Widge over here in this middle lane does have to be careful. It's like they're gonna allow him to survive right now, but again, like we said, this is definitely looking a lot better for SG with this draft this time around, especially now that they've managed to really just empower Costabile.
nothing to say
It's looking good. Camarana hunting for some couriers, but ultimately it's just Tabo getting solo experience here. Almost level 6. Might be in trouble here though. Right.
That's fine. Even gonna drop the spray. Classic Tabo here. Harkens back to the Pain Gaming days of them spamming things constantly. Double damage and is available top. In jungle, so pick it up.
Focus not worried at all here. He's got a lot of HP. Doesn't have a tornado, but he knows these guys don't have that much single target damage. Like, it's gonna be a while until Ember feels like a threat in this laning stage here.
He saw the courier at the Olacor. He wants this.
Dire's courier has been
poor
killed.
Spectre.
You
He'll never
have
get
learned
his That was a
nothing.
chainmail, the broadsword, and, you know, the magic wand recipe. But this is the second time this has happened to him. Now they'll turn back around. Good spike carapace coming out from Wish. Will allow him to walk away, but the rotation is coming out now. Tabo ticking down a little bit. Doesn't have those boots yet, so he's super slow. Does have the Oracle nearby, though, if necessary. So he'll drop a ward, trying to get some vision going with the nuke. It's a lot of damage. Plus the Spirit Siphon coming out here from Tabo. They'll collect themselves a kill with a good rotation. Tabo, though, does have to be a little careful. That's a good disarm being placed over on Angel.
So cool to see KJ's transition basically from winning the lane to just getting things done. He's really excelled at this. He got that solo kill on the Nyx, then he ganks mid, then he comes top and gets another kill. Normally when 5s get zoned out of their lane because they don't need to be there, it's like they struggle to get things done. But Oracle, one of the highest nuking support, highest damage supports in the game for early nukes, and he's making it work. He's affecting the game really positively right now.
Indeed, as they are putting lots of pressure here in top, forcing Wish to also stick around here. Splinter Blast lands over onto Tavo. Does get the boots delivered this time, though. Gonna use that Spirit Siphon. The old, of course, start giving the clicks over onto Chesed. Splinter Blast will connect. Wish also making this rotation here. They want to try to punish Tavo, but they're not feeling too confident as they do turn back around over onto Theola Core. They manage to get the kill on Angel while all this is going on. The tips come out. Tavo says, nice try, bro. And here it is. Here's 4DR making his own rotation. He sees Wish. He's going to open up with that Tornado EMP. Wish pretty fast, though. He's going to be able to sidestep it.
Middle tower is under
tossing
attack.
out the arrow. Almost right on target here. As Wish just continues to try to make a little bit of space. They do have the cold snap on line here for 4DR if they decide to continue to follow. But looks like they've had enough. And they're just going to go right back to their respective lanes.
Angel really struggling here. He's getting pressured constantly. This Death Prophet, he's a little lower this time.
This is not looking good for Tavo this time. Arrow gets tossed out, does connect over to Chesed, so they're not going to be able to apply that slow any further. So the Spirit Siphon is going to bring them right back around again. They could actually turn this back around over onto Angel and get themselves a kill. The Crypt Swarm, yes, they managed to take down the Olacore, but they'll take down Angel yet again and make another rotation here, as this time Robo Z has made his way top. How many deaths was that?
Radiant structures are
Second death on Spectre, but it feels way more impactful than that. He did get the first kill. He did kill Morana before he died, but this time not farming is going to be really costly to him. Even picking that up, Tavo just putting so much pressure on his opponents. He's like mid heroes that are good at fighting that you play in the off lane. If you get away with it, you're pressuring the carry and accelerating your team. And in the meantime, SG's been getting stacks done for Axe. That's something Oracle's been doing. He dewarded the Ancient stack, and now Axe is just going to accelerate so rapidly. He's got like double the last hits of any hero in the game right now.
He's got his Yasha completed. He's got boots, Vanguard, Yasha. Like he's huge.
He's
at
really
9 minutes and 40 something seconds. Like that's very scary because this is a draft that absolutely has to play tempo. Sacred trying to put some pressure over here in this bottom lane, but Dragon Form did just expire. So Theola, of course, is going to push it right back out again. Wish getting into position here, trying to land a stun over onto 4DR. Does manage to burn up some of the mana.
All things fall.
So I'm surprised Dragonite hasn't been able to take this tower yet. I haven't watched down here in a while because we've been busy with the top lane, but
yeah.
The fact that the tower is still alive despite people being gone for a while is a little surprising. Maybe Axe spent some time there before clearing his stacks, something like that, but it just feels like there's not very many play options on the map. EMP does get dodged by the Ember Spirit at least. He's a little bit happy about that, but Morana for now is just going to try to protect that safe lane.
Which does make his own rotation, can burn a little bit of her mana.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
To go right back, and there it is. There's a Dragon Form. We're going to be seeing a teleport down to the bottom lane. It's 4DR. Does have the cold snap, doesn't have EMP just yet.
Tower will be deniable with this.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Sorry from Theola Core, but over on the back lines, there's a courier that is killed, and now 4DR is going to open up. Does have that EMP. He's going to burn all the mana over onto Sacred. Lands the arrow over onto Wish, and they do have the Spirit Vessel completed. This is looking very, very good. Although the stun comes out of Costabile, thinks Theola Core is looking too good right now. He is going to indeed fall, but first they get the kill on Wish.
Very crucial that they were able to clean up the Nyx because that's 2 more Spirit Vessel charges, but yeah, it took some doing there. Tavo's spots. Spectre, can he get him?
Oh, he's got the damage, the root into place. That's another death over on Angel. Chesed is trying to just flap those little wings away. It's rotation though, coming out. Oh, the tornado go connects over onto both of them. The nukes come out, they'll get the kill on Chesed. Rosie trying to just get them out of his jungle, out from behind the towers. He is not happy about this. But the side of SG will just saunter out casually. No cares in the world here right now.
You have learned
nothing. Placed so deep in the jungle here and spotted them. They must have seen that Spectre was kind of low. He had perfect vision, but he ran it at a great time when with the silence was able to collect the Spectre kill. So yeah, Axe has a lot of farm this game, guys. Much more than the Spectre does, so is like a complete flip of game 1, but it's more extreme.
Dire's top
There's
tower is
huge
under
net worth
attack.
advantages for SG Esports.
Dire's
Here's what I was
top
thinking
tower
too,
has
right?
fallen.
Because we have a little bit of a run back here in terms of the first couple picks for both of the drafts. When we had the remake game, if you recall the other day, like 2 days ago, the first game went very poorly for SG, and then they got the chance to sort of pseudo replay the draft, right? Because they said you have to do a new draft, and it was slightly tinkered, but they had very similar heroes and ideas. So what I was wondering when I saw this draft come out, I was thinking, this is it. This is the SG from the other day where they realized, oh, hey, this is what we did wrong in game number 1. We're going to try to correct it. We're going to play it, you know, a lot more aggressive or whatever the issue was. And it seems to be the case this time around. We've got a 7K net worth lead at 13 minutes in Purge.
Just so much has happened, basically. They got, I mean, the Nyx Assassin isn't even 6 yet. We're 13 minutes in. The Cascade is insane. Oracle's level 8, for God's sake. Like, he's so far ahead where Nyx is. And Nyx is supposed to be the guy putting pressure on, but he just
Radiant's
didn't do it in the
bottom
late
tower
stage.
is
He got a
under
little bit
attack.
behind in levels. Looking up, they're
They
doing it
see
again.
Angel.
They're putting a ward down.
AJ waiting patiently here.
It's hard.
Smoke will end, but they'll block some camps along the way.
I think that did get spotted by Wyvern. He buys the sentry immediately.
Run
That's it, though.
like the
Angel's
dog
just
you
he's
are.
got to live with this.
He's gonna throw
all
out
you
some
can do.
fancy taunts. He's got a leap in case he needs it. He's gonna do a couple plays, but Robozy is here again, so they're gonna back off.
Theolacor was trying to protect his camp from being blocked there by... He looks kind of dead to me.
Yeah, he's not looking too healthy, but you know what? When you can throw out a good
Red Dire's
root
top
in
tower
place
is
there,
under attack.
yeah. I don't think they've got the vision here. They even go and they use that ultimate to keep the Oldacor alive. As 40 and Costabile are here. It's gonna go grab up with the place. They've got plenty of damage. The duck comes out, and that is a dead witch. And I want to just say, look at Costabile right now. He has a full Manta. He is super close to that blink dagger. This is one big scary axe, and he's just running at
Dire's
Sacred
middle
now.
tower is
A
under
little bit
attack.
off the mark here with that tornado, but they're just pushing them so far away from the tower. And then he has to be careful. They're going to the far. Chesed, though, will fall as he gets clicked down. And it looks like Tavo's going to say, hey, guys, there's still a tower up. We should probably
Dire's
hit
middle
that.
tower is under attack.
He gets
Somebody
the
wants
D-ward.
more.
Dire's structures are
Look at him.
fortified.
Just trying to be the buffer between his opponents and the tier 1 tower. If he just prevents them from even approaching, they can't pull the creep wave. Pablo gets to do
Dire's
full
middle
damage, and
tower
what an
has
easy
fallen.
tower for them. But everything's fallen into place. Wards get placed. That gives them intel that allows Invoker to get the solo kill on Wyvern. The Observer got dewarded,
Radiant's
but
top
hey,
tower
they made the
Nas
play
and
there.
TI10.
They got the tier 1 tower. Now they get to farm
Radiant
aggressive.
is
This big network advantage is so important that you play in the enemy side of the map, because you want to make sure that it's harder for them to be aggressive against you. And that way, if your opponents want to farm, they're in a dangerous place due to them being Mirana might fall here, though.
Yeah, I think they've got plenty of lockdown to take the Oldacor down this time. So a good use of Vendetta here coming up from Wish, manages to find a nice pickoff, but here is the issue that I'm seeing now, is the Blink Dagger has been completed now for Costabile. He forces out the Haunt, because he's actually too afraid, as they will rotate down to the bottom lane. They see King Jungle, so they'll get the stun off, might be able to collect themselves a little bit of a kill, but they'll send over some of these illusions to try to do some damage and try to buy just a little bit of time. But King Jungle, even though he's got some moves, cannot juke them, and he will fall.
Very fortunate there for Angel that when he haunts, he spots the support a little out of position. That's from him placing this Observer ward a little earlier and hanging on that area, so not terrible for them. But SG says, all right, whatever, we got a loss there, but it's not the end of the world. And yeah, look, the Wyvern's just checking all the camps, making sure there's no wards there blocking. He wants to make sure his allies can still get the farm there as needed. But for now, worth continuing to BKB on the way
Dire's
for
top
Death
tower
Prophet
is
and
under
about
attack.
1,000 gold. That'll make him very, very safe. Here's the Midas for Invoker. That'll help his net worth catch up. He's done his job early game for sure.
We got a big smoke though here, Perch. This is going to be the blink reveal on Costabile, and they've already prepped for this fight. So they drop a ward. They've got their eyes on this Invoker. Wait for it. The jump forward here. Dragon Ball is not going to be able to quite get it off quite fast enough, but Robozy still will fall. He's trying his best. Beautiful with his first though over here on 40 yards. This is actually a disaster. They'll end
Dire's
up losing
middle
the
tower
Invoker
is
very
under
nicely
attack.
played by Chesed.
It looked almost so good. The Axe jumps in to do some counter initiation, but he gets caught by the Nyx stun as well. So made things a little bit sloppier. They weren't able to get the Ember quite as fast as they wanted, but ultimately a little trade there is nice. If they get the map control back, yeah, there's a sentry. He's going to spot the Nyx, I think, very briefly there. hey, this is their jungle now. Maybe they can pressure the 2-2 tower. There is still a
They
glitch,
definitely
so
see Wish. They
Dire's
definitely see
top
Wish. They
tower
pop the
is
Manta
under
over on
attack.
Costabile here too. Run right past. Get those
Radiant's
chains
middle
up. They'll
tower
purge
is
them
under
off
attack.
immediately. Robo Z over here. Costabile looking for this opening. The Dragon Form comes out though. They'll be able to go and land the stun. Get a couple nice spins. A little bit more control coming out here from the side of Unknown, but they do have an Oracle who's going to be able to keep them safe.
nicely done. So hard to fight through the Axe right now with all this tankiness, and doesn't even have the shard yet. He wants to buy, but he can't. It's too hard. 18 minutes in.
Too efficient, Costabile. What you doing there, bro?
Legitimately too rich. It's like, so what do you
Radiant's
do? Start buying
bottom
BKB, then go
tower is
back and
under
buy
attack.
shard, or do you just wait for 2 minutes then buy shard? To say, but a decent amount done. Dragon ulti gets popped. Some pressure on their opponents. In the meantime, Axe is just farming anyways with the illusions, so everything looking good for SG. Covering each other well. BKB up yet on Death Prophet, very close. 200 gold to go.
Nothing to say.
All right. Well, all this is going on. Angel just still trying to find room here, trying to finish up his own Manta style. He does have the blade mail completed and the treads. What's the best way for Unknown to approach this right now? Because obviously they don't want to fight Axe. Axe is just way too big for them to have to deal with. But how do they buy the space? How do they make room here?
I mean, don't get caught themselves is the most important thing. Spectre needs to stay alive. They need to get the right catches in the fights. Invoker is probably by far the highest impact guy to kill in the engagements. If you can find him with Dragon Knight and Spectre Manta style, which they just picked up, that'd be a great target. Nyx also can target him, but there's some counterplay in SG. They picked up Mech on Mirana, so it won't be super easy. And obviously there's Oracle too. So I guess that's what it's got to be, basically. Interrupt Oracle with a Winter's Curse or Ember Spirit or somebody separating the fight while you kill some important guy in the front. Death Prophet, Invoker.
Oh, Tavo.
And don't let Axe kill anybody.
Look at the way that KJ is playing though here. It's gonna be the haunt immediately. They'll jump over onto the Oracle. KJ, he's gonna get blown up before he can do anything other than get off the ultimate though, but he has 5 back. And because he got off that ultimate, he's gonna be able to keep Tavo alive as he uses his own BKB here.
Whoa.
Oh no, never mind. I thought he had enough there. He's forward again over onto the Olaport. They'll hold him into place using those searing chains. Not looking good for the Olaport. He's gonna get blown up. It's just though. Falls on the back line. Kill again over on KJ. He bought back this ice wall, slowing them down quite a bit. 40R trying to buy just a little bit more space, a little bit more time. Does have the tornado available if they continue to chase. Blink forward here, coming out from Costabile. He's not feeling super confident here that he wants to be there. Nice tornado coming out. We'll follow up with the battle hunger here. If they do anything else now, this is going to be a dead 40R. It's a really nice play coming out from Team Unknown. I thought with that ultimate off, that no, it's just Spectre had too much damage. My God.
Yeah, I thought maybe, but it was the problem was that Oracle got jumped instantly from Spectre. He had a hard decision to make, and he chose to throw the false promise, and he was not able to throw heal or anything. So no extra healing from him. And yet the Spirit Siphon did come out from Death Prophet, but I didn't see if Spectre used Blade Mail or not. But if you use Blade Mail, you're basically offsetting everything that the Spirit Siphon would heal. And I guess the heal would double. So it'd still be okay, but it would just be like 1 Spirit Siphon instead of 2. So it just wasn't quite enough heal.
Radiant are
As
scanning.
BKB got popped a little bit late, so maybe took more damage than needed. Yeah, just,
Radiant's
I was
bottom
surprised
tower
too,
is under
but he was
attack.
very jumped on by himself. So great fight for Unknown there. They get what they want.
Radiant structures are
All right, well, we have the
fortified.
shard online now for
Radiant's
Costabile, so I wouldn't be
bottom
surprised to see
tower is
them
under
go for a
attack.
smoke play, knowing that Haunt is down, and possibly pop the Moonlight Shadow. In fact, that's exactly the play here. They are going to try to wander through. They'll drop a meatball in the mid lane. Costabile is going to land this charge here, lead the charge. Making
No
his
deaths
way.
on Axe though, so if he breaks, they're not going to be
Dire
able to
are
see.
Jump forward. Oh, he misses just a little bit on Sacred.
Dire's
Turns
middle
back
tower
around. He's got
is
the
under
dragon
attack.
form. Nice tornado BKB coming out from Tavo. He doesn't have that exorcism just yet, but he is going to be able to get the silence off. Winter's Curse gets placed down over on the side. The Oliver jumping around, hopping up to the high ground, trying to buy himself just more time. Sunstrike. Nah, there's going to turn back around. They'll land the root and just play Costabile grabs himself stressed, looking to grab himself anything else that he can get here either. But Blink Dagger now on cooldown.
Rana almost died. She had like 90 HP
She had
afterwards.
to hop all over the place.
Yeah, and that was false promise to keep her up. A lot of resources just to get that 1 kill, but hey, maybe they can get Roche out of this. Once is up in 20 seconds. Is that going to be enough time? Ooh, I don't know.
They're gonna try to make their way over to the pit here. Moonlight Shadow does get used again. They know where the Spectre is. They have a ward over here, and they do know that there's gonna be something here, but they do get the call off over the witch immediately. So they'll be able to blow up the Nyx Assassin. Bravo joining in here with the Olin Core. They throw it out. Another silence getting placed. The Slight's doing a decent amount of damage as they'll buy back now over on the Nyx Assassin. Costabile is gonna need some help here as they do go for the monster. They're jumping on KJ over onto the back lines. They'll take down the Olin Core. They'll take down the Oracle. They'll lose Costabile now. And it's not looking good for Bordiar. As he does get Dustin Chesset will fall in the back lines, but they'll be able to clean up the Invoker. Tavo here just stunned up from that spike carapace. He's trying to get off the div. Does have the BKB this time. And he's just gonna teleport out. He does not want to be here anymore. There's so much damage. It's actually frightening.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Pretty good for SG, but all of a sudden, like everybody just, they didn't have enough heals. They didn't have enough sustain to keep everyone on SG alive. Like imagine they got a trusty shovel this game and all of a sudden someone's like, oh, I have 3 stocks here, everybody heal back up. It didn't happen. Everyone got too low. The Haunt killed Mirana. He didn't even jump to it. But can they
They land the arrow on Age. I don't know if they can get in there though. Yeah, look at this. Sacred jumping up, finds himself KJ, wants to remove him, but there it is. There's the Angel picked up now for Angel as KJ is running for his life. Sacred sitting too low though. He gets nuked out by Tavo. Arrow gets tossed out again. It lands over which they can go back in if they like that. They'll use the whip. They'll turn back around. They use a really nice spike carapace though. Buying him a bit of time using that impale, but the nuke comes out from KJ. He's mad that they were going after him, and he'll get his revenge.
He was like, sorry guys, I have to take this kill, you're all stunned.
Oh dear.
Very happy to pick that one up. He's been playing really good. All of his moves as Oracle have been reading the fights extremely well. But yeah, just damage something kind of hard for them to weather the storm in these engagements. So far.
I think the only time we've really seen KJ out in like a bad position is when they haunt it, usually because it's right next to him, obviously. Not much that an Oracle can do about that.
Why isn't he in the fountain?
Because he's being a good team player and keeping his people alive.
Radiant are scanning.
Radiant's middle tower is gone and no haunt for 40 seconds, so they feel confident.
Is under attack.
The BKB is coming out from Costabile now too. That's a big tower spike.
Cool.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
What with Aegis up on Spectre? Not the best, but if they can kill other heroes in the fight, could be alright. Axe is on the way semi-soon for Ember. He needs like 2,000 or 1,500 gold, but if he finishes that, he's gonna be flopping all around the fights. Haunt's gonna come out, he's just gonna blow up Oracle every time. Oracle needs a lot of survivability. Doesn't have a Force Staff yet, really needs it, but it's gonna be a while until he gets it, unfortunately.
He's gonna need a Force Staff, he's gonna need an Aeon Disc, he's gonna need a Glimmer Cape, and pray that they don't have dust.
Scepter.
It's a hard knock life when you're an Oracle.
It is, and he had such a good early game too, but he's got Arcane Boots, he's got a Staff of Wizardry, and he's almost got the Force Staff, but unfortunately those mid-game fights just went a little bit too rough, and now Spectre's done a great job recovering. Just Unknown recognizing their opportunities to take fights, and they slowly worked their way back into this game. Now it's pretty close, still net worth advantage.
Does have a...
Ags on DK. Good timing on that.
Yeah. Toss out, they realize that they picked it up.
Radiant's bottom
they'll
tower
get their free
is under
Scotty
attack.
without the anti-regen, but
right.
Scotty timing that's coming up on Spectre is a scary thing. Again, think about how it was last game against Death Prop. I made Death Prop kill a lot worse. Obviously it's a melee Scotty, it's a little different, but Spectre's getting in a pretty good position here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Gonna walk up the tower. She feels powerful, of course, because she does have that Aegis. She knows her team is nearby. This Arrow, though, scouting out a little bit, because they do ping it out. Nice sentry placed over on the sides, keeps tabs over on the Nyx, but they are going to let this T1 fall.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
It'd be hard to defend that one at this point in the game against the Aegis, so play it safe, you gotta wait. They're looking for a pick bottom in case somebody went down there for efficiency reasons. They usually do a call into Arrow to get a kill here, but nobody's headed over, so they're just gonna hit creeps with their illusions instead while Known continues to control the map and compound their net worth a little bit. But SG's still farming well, still staying ahead. Great item pickup, Titan Slipper on Spectre, so good. magic resistance, less stun duration, all that good stuff.
KJ is going to walk up over here on the hunter, immediately tries to negate some of the magic damage, but is immediately just blown up as here Tavo is going to try to teleport out. Can he get the fashion run? No.
Radiant's top tower is under
Look how
attack.
close that sentry was to him too. It's like an inch away. It's about the T-spawn too, once see it, but the sentry was really close. That was so dangerous. If he gets bashed there, he probably pops BKB and tries to run, but still dies or something. It would have been really bad. But just Oracle and they got haunt out of it. That was great for SG. See if they can get a grab. They're in vision.
Out Wish opening up. The rest of Unknown is here, and they want to kill Costabile. It seems like they're going to be able to do it. There was no Oracle there to save him that time.
It's a little greedy. She observer wards,
Dire's bottom tower is under
get the pickup.
attack.
So now things are certainly changing. Game is pretty darn even, but Unknown's just done such a great job not getting picked off despite the net worth advantage. As things have continued,
Dire's
that the big
tower
fight before
has
the
fallen.
Roche was a little too rough for SG. And as the game goes on, just feels really hard for Oracle to be
Radiant's middle
survivable
tower
enough
is
to
under
play
attack.
his hero. Play his game. He needs to sit behind these cores when they get gone on, but every single fight, Unknown's going to target him first.
The Axe now is completed for the Ember Spirit, and also a couple of these neutral items show up. The Mind Breaker is always nice. Of course, Spider Legs is a great pickup for being able to have better positioning in these fights. But Unknown continues to farm up. Still Axe sitting at the top of the net worth, but Spectre very closely behind here. Sitting just a couple hundred gold behind. And I'm starting to feel like SG's window is starting to close a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely feels like that a bit here. While Axe can function as a carry.
Oh, he's just a little bit off the mark again here. Gets a couple nice bits, plus the silence. They'll follow up, but there it is. The Winter's Curse over onto Tavo. Luckily, not the super hard hitters coming out here, so they'll be able to go heal back up. They've got Guardian Group. There's going to be the jump forward, though, coming out from Robo. He gets a couple of these slides up. BKB's looking off. They're going to go in with the Exorcism because they managed to go and get the call up over onto 2 Sacred. And Angel taking so much damage, and they're trying to keep control by using that heal, but they cannot. The California sitting very, very low, but they'll take down 40. They'll take down KJ. A Sacred will fall, and Costabile also will not survive this. As you can see now, Tavo waiting patiently here. He wants to kill on Witch, but he knows he's not going to be able to get it because Robozy, he is alive. There are 3 heroes here. They have the stuff. They have the control. That is a dead prophet. The arrow falls through. It's an illusion. And the only one left alive on the side of SG is Diolacor.
It looked pretty good for SG when they get that monster call on the Spectre and the Dragon Knight, and they were able to get those kills, but it just cost them a little bit too much in the engagement. Ultimately, Unique or Unknown, sorry, gets to initiate the way they want. They burn the false promise just to save Axe, who Blink tried to stun, missed it, and didn't pop BKB in response. So his BKB was wasted. Oracle ulti got wasted. If they just executed a little bit better, they definitely could have won that fight with that monster call follow-up. But right now, Unknown's just playing better, without a doubt. Those like small reaction moments could completely change the fight if Axe calls Dragon Knight, and it goes the opposite way for chain stuns. But it doesn't happen. We haven't seen a call into Arrow, I feel like, much of the whole game. And that's one of the really core things that they need to make Mirana feel like a valuable hero here.
I mean, it's just so hard because they're lacking a lot of that lockdown, right? Especially when you consider that this Axe needs to be, you know, he's a core. He can't put himself in these potentially really risky situations. You have Cold Snap, you know, the mini stun coming out over on 40R. You've got a Root and the Arrow. But like when you've got something like this, this Ember Spirit, it's so hard to use those particular spells to hold them in place.
It is really hard. And as the game continues, he just continues casting his spells, Searing Chains with Slight every 10 seconds or so for both. He's applying Maelstrom damage. He's got an Enchanted Quiver, so his damage is really not that bad. And as long as he doesn't get like Axe called into Arrow, like Ember is going to be a huge feature of these fights.
This is looking scary too. Angel has almost completed the Abyssal Blade.
Yeah, good luck, Oracle.
Yep.
That's where you really need the Aeon Disc, because good luck, you're gonna have to react in time. I mean, you know that Spectre is gonna jump on you, but it's really tough to do something that could go Scepter in time.
Right, well, you're leading the charge here. Costabile, he needs to land these calls. It's very important. There it is. He's finally going to be able to land it over onto Sacred. Immediately, though, the hawk comes out. You can tell they're trying to hunt for this Oracle over on the backline. These spins are really nice, though. Is it going to be enough to take down Sacred? It's not looking to do enough as he just flies over the cliffside. One more hit should be able to do it. Eventually, yes, they'll take down the Dragon Knight. Meanwhile, now over on the low ground, they're going to try to go and jump on Wish here. There's some nice winter skirts coming out from Chesed. Buys just a little bit more time for Wish, but they should still be able to see him over here as they have the cold snap. No. Oh, the arrow. It's so close, but it just doesn't connect fully.
Is under attack.
So Robo Z is going to rejoin. They do have the exorcism. They should be able to pressure the tier 2 here. They have to be aware of this Ember who's going to be able to slight back and forth, and they don't have super great lockdown.
That was cool. They managed to keep the Oracle alive in that fight. I don't know if it's because they were all smoked, and thus when the Haunt comes out, it's not immediately obvious where Oracle is.
Middle tower
but they get the initiation first. Dragon Knight gets pressured and ultimately killed by Tavo on the back line. Spectre was like trying to kill or play with Invoker, but Invoker delays his BKB, then goes invis, basically just wasting a lot of the time of Angel. So it worked out pretty nicely for them. They got 2 kills, no losses. There's a Roche respawning just now. Second Roche, can they take it though? They don't have exorcism for 70.
Oh, they do the scan too. They're just gonna beeline over there on the side of Unknown. They don't have the Haunt up. They don't know the Winter's Curse. Yolacor knows that there's somebody up there. Nyx Assassin making his way over. He is smoked up. The vision. It's gonna be the jump in. Beautiful impale followed up now with Robo Z just slipping on through. Not gonna have any mana left to fight the Yolacor hopping around over on the back line. You can see 40R wants to just get rid of the Nyx Assassin. They'll be able to do it. They'll slow them down just a little bit over here using this Ice Wall. Robo Z is very far away from the rest of his team, but does have the Remnant up. It's gonna get rooted into place. Buyback now from the Nyx Assassin. They don't want to give this up. He goes in for the call. He misses it again as they jump over onto the Yolacor. There's going to be a nice Winter's Curse buying this again. A little bit more time as the rest of the side of SG are trying to scatter away. KJ trying to stay alive. Doesn't have those spider legs, but the Angel just zeroing in on him. We'll get the kill. The buyback coming out right now. Sacred focus. He goes, he gets the double. The Yolacor also the fall. Combo now needs to be careful. Just like Pool trying to find Costabile here. BKB comes out now from Tavo. Tries to just get a little bit more space. He just needs to claw his way out. Another Haunt comes out. Angel, he wants Costabile. Good save though coming out from KJ. As the Angel going very far into the base, turns his attention now over to 40R, but they have the Tornado. It's gonna buy more time as they have that exorcism. Tavo looking to possibly re-engage, but the rest of the team needs to go back, lick their wounds before they go back in again.
Perfect timing for Unknown to escape there after exorcism gets popped, and they just ran down their opponents, but some good reactions by SG makes it difficult.
They got the vision, there's the call finally, and they go and they buy a little bit more time to watch again, using that heal, dunking right through it. Tavo on the other end. This blade mail is doing some work. But it makes Angel scared enough to just back off. It's a 3-man route on the back end here coming out from this Oracle. Everybody wants this Roshan, but it is hard to get in that pit. They're going to heal up Costabile again. He's got a salve on him.
Cold Embrace is being a huge nuisance here. When they get somebody low, it takes a lot more to finish it, but Spectre's trying to cheese it out by himself here, and he can solo kill it really easy, but they know. Blink gets interrupted.
The jump in from Costabile. He wants to find the zone opening here. Gets a couple of spins off. Just go over to the diamond. Get the Winter's Curse. Where is it? Who gets it? It's gonna be Angel. Takes up that Aegis as Costabile swirling around. No mana left over here on Angel. Just trying to finish off the Olacorn, but there it is. There's the save coming out again. Picks up the regen room. Slows down Angel. He's gonna go pop a cell as well. They're gonna turn back around. They have the call. They got something. They got the alacrity. The BKB is coming out too. Does get the dunk off. It's gonna be the first step now for the Spectre as Robo Z is trying to make some chaos over on the back line. The Haunt comes out. This is an angry Spectre. Spectre wants to get in here. Can't find anyone though. Would love to finish off Costabile, but just doesn't have the vision. So that is, what is that, the 3rd Haunt in this one fight that we had, Purge?
Cheese and Shard still in the pit. They go back in to claim what they want, and we'll see who they end up giving it to. Wyvern's gonna want that. Everybody wants it, man. What a crazy fight though. The game's still like dead even. That's what's insane. But there's SG doing a great job covering each other. Oracle's consistently saving supports and making things more difficult, and everybody on the Unknown side just feels like they get to play the game that they want to, more or less. They're gonna get the shard to DK, surprisingly. Heard people say they think it's really bad. I think it's okay. People generally don't stand the fire that long, but maybe SG's gonna get a good grab here.
Oh, yeah, they go. They find themselves Wedge, and they just blow him up completely. Theolacor now hunting. Does he chest it? Gonna get a couple of these clicks off. RoboZ also running away. They don't have the lockdown, though. So it looks like the only person to fall here is going to be the Nyx Assassin over on team.
Typically a great item, but yeah, they're gonna pass it over. And there's a lot of spell amp, more disabled duration will be nice. What else? A leveler on Axe, the standard Axe right click item. Only attack speed, that's all that matters, guys, on this hero.
I'm a little surprised they got an illusionist cape over
Dire's
on the
bottom
side of
tower
Unknown,
is under attack.
and I figured that, you know, that would be something that maybe Angel would like, but he's still, oh, he's got the Penta. Got the Penta sword.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see that would get picked up.
Double damage.
A lot of movement, or a lot of little bit of movement speed reduction. 60 attack speed reduction is so much,
Dire's
actually.
bottom tower is under attack.
Is Axe gonna pick up an illusionist cape?
Oh, he's got an illusionist cape.
Yep, that was
jeez.
pretty good. The raw damage as illusions do is weak, so increasing that part not very good. But being able to push out 2 lanes really easily is incredibly good. It's like guaranteed net worth. But in a team fight, he's probably gonna want leveler instead. 5 armor, 60 attack speed, 50 attack speed. That's all pretty good stuff.
Dire's bottom tower
Just gonna split push for now. Wait for an opportunity. Game continues. Had like the same net worth advantage for so long.
I know.
It's a fun game.
It feels like a lot of who gets the jump on who, mostly.
Yeah. This game, absolutely, it's big. There's counterplay, obviously. Like Winter Wyverns had some really good curses that interrupt SG's initiations. Obviously, Cold Embrace is a good way to counterplay this, but yeah, as a whole,
It's fascinating because she hasn't gone for a Holy Locket at all, Purge. Is it just...
It's a little atypical, but went for Aether Lens instead. I'd say very justified, right? The Winter's Curses so far have been excellent. It allows her to be a little bit safer, sit farther back, catch people as they're out of position, going for a Blink Dagger as well. So his whole goal is basically just catch them, and that's fine. Because his team's always going to be the aggressor, basically, between Ember and Dragonite and Spectre. He can sit back and react, so he doesn't really need to worry about defensive items as much. Obviously, Holy Locket's great. Cold Embrace is good.
Safer. Jump forward immediately, though. They'll follow up with the Moonlight Shadow. You can see the Haunt coming out. Spectre was trying to get out to those back lines. RoboZ chasing after KJ. Just wants to just close the gap over here, but he's not going to be able to quite get his hands on this. Very, very separated now from the rest of the team. The only one, though, taking a lot of damage. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive this, so they'll be able to take down the Marana. This is a big pop during all this. Costabile is clipped. Oh dear, does have the BKB. He's going to try to push himself down, but he is just out of the fight. But despite his damage, he's out of the fight. This is doing his decent amount of damage. He's taking very, very little 40 hours. Also, he's going to need to have that Faith Paul's Promise placed on him to keep him alive here. And he's going to need some more heals as well, but the spider legs over on KJ will ensure he's able to go and just move himself into position. Tavo here with Costabile. They see Angel. He goes, he eats the cheek. They have to be careful though. RoboZ still alive, still kicking around over on this back end. He would love to get the skill to Zorgo. Look at him though. He's just running circles around him. Still alive, still surviving. Somehow he's going to try to teleport out. He cannot do it. But he led them on one heck of a merry chase the entire time. As Unknown.
It's mind-blowing how much time he's giving in himself and his team, just with like the spider legs plays. Like the Marana ulti is also huge, right? Marana ultis, it allows Oracle to run for his life, and it gives him a movement speed bonus when he goes in biz. So this forces Spectre basically to have to carry dust or whatever else to try to get these kills, but we just it feels like he lives the whole fight, and that does not happen often on Oracles. Buying them a lot of time, and the clicking of Axe, I didn't see how it happened. It was probably him misblinking or something, but it obviously hurt him for a while, but he's able to get back down and get back in the engagement. So
imagine how differently that fight goes if Costabile is not cliffed.
Yeah, could have been very different for sure. The Shiva's helping out too, my anti-healing that it's providing, so another reason Holy Lock on Wyvern might have been a little bit weak, but
that's true.
I feel like Dragonite's been struggling a little bit. His KDA's fine, and he's sometimes getting catches, but it just feels like he's getting cleaned up early on in the engagements. Maybe because Axe does all pure damage, so he's just not as survivable as he wants to be normally. Death Prophet is also an issue, just has overwhelming damage and does percentage-based damage, so it kind of cuts through him, but it's
so
a
hard
little
for
bit
them.
harder for unknown. Yeah.
So hard for SG to get their hands on RoboZ though. He has just been sliding around all these fights. He does have a gem now as well. So if they do try to smoke gank with Moonlight Shadow as well, he's going to be able to see them after it breaks. And he's got the Minotaur horn, so he's very survivable, which I think becomes a big part of the chaos and the confusion.
It definitely helps. I can't help but think that I wish he had more damage though. I don't
What would
blame
you
him for
have liked
having the
to
items
see
he
on him?
has. I mean, he's going the normal items, and there's not really anything better, I guess. But I guess he wants Minotaur Horn. Does probably because of silence is my guess.
Yeah.
Because if he ever gets like silenced from Death Prophet, it feels really bad to BKB for that. But if it's Minotaur Horn, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna Minotaur Horn and save BKB for like when it really matters. But for that reason, I look at that neutral item slot. I'm like, I just wish he had more damage because I feel like, yeah, he's not dying, but is he doing that much damage? Obviously, Slight Chains very
Dire
good,
are
but
scanning.
Oracle's been doing such a good job, like consistently Fortune's Ending whoever gets caught with that. Or like he either Fortune's End to Ember Slight Changes, or he throws Fortune's End on Ember to remove Flame Guard or something like that. And really counteracting a lot of what Ember does. Ember's supposed to like control heroes in fights, but if he's not doing that, then I wish he has more. I wish that he had more damage, basically.
That's fair. KJ has been exceptionally elusive in this game, particularly. It's itemized well. He has the Force Staff. He's got
Dire's
Ghost
middle
Scepter.
tower is under
He's
attack.
always positioned himself in a way that he's not going to get jumped unless they make a concerted effort for him. And God knows they have been making concerted effort, but they just can't seem to hold him down long enough, especially because they have opted to give him those
Radiant's
spider legs.
bottom
I was wondering if
tower
they
is
would do that,
under
because I know
attack.
he's holding onto the telescope originally, but haste
Yeah, on paper.
Haste!
Paper, you would expect the telescope. Smokes might break. Actually, they see.
Sacred.
Ally.
Okay, yep, well, now they do, I would say. And there it is, the BKB fireball gets landed over here on the ground. They are holding Costabile here in it for a decent amount of time. That's done, but they just walk away, and the rest of Unknown, they don't want to be here.
The downside, running through river without a ward in the area. When your smoke breaks, you don't realize that there's a hero standing right in front of you. They must have been looking on the map or something, because they
have
both
to be, 'cause they
reacted
blinked
pretty
right
slow.
next to them, and they just stared at each other for like a half a second.
Yeah, it was pretty slow compared to normal.
Giết
But
một con rồng má phải chạy thành
they've got the
đầu.
bigger
Dire's
berserkers
middle
call
tower
AoE a
is
little bit
under
easier to
attack.
land that, at least. But yeah, on the bright side, what happens is DK pops ulti, and now it's going to be on cooldown. But Unknown goes for a smoke here. They're going to try to utilize this if possible. It's a big window for DK where he's got tons of extra magic resistance, which is great against Death Prophet and others.
Where's
But
this
can
up?
they get anybody?
Dire's middle tower is under
Near
attack.
Roach Pit, but his ulti is ending now. This is the timing SG wants to exploit with that half initiation. They even pop BKB on Axe. They're ready to be careful with their resource usage.
Couple pings coming out here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Look at all the summons and illusions just around this pit, though, trying to ensure
Yeah.
they have tabs on them.
It's important. It's a lot.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Booker's got a lot of gold, 5,000. Wants the Ags, but also wants buyback. Both very important here.
Yes.
Dire's middle tower
And they're going to
is
start
under
on Roach.
attack.
Their illusions are going to get here. Their summons are going to get here late.
I
Radiant
mean, the nice
are
thing is that
scanning.
RoboZ can be in there in a second because he does have one of those remnants in there. So,
All right, they
scan
know.
comes out. Casual arrow tossed out, lands over on Angel. Bush getting into position. They'll send in some of the Manta illusions, trying to get some information. They just see Angel, so they have to suspect that everyone else is positioned in a manner that
Dire's
is
middle
going to
tower
be
is under attack. Dire's middle
supporting
tower
and safe
has
here.
fallen.
Tavo popping the Shivas. They'll throw out another tornado. Looking again. There's going to be the arrow. A couple of these spins over to the side, but over onto the back line to find the Ulfor. It's a beautiful Winter's Curse as the whole Tavo is like to waste some of the BKB duration. Gonna be the one coming out. Angel, though, toss back here. 40 yards in against KJ. They'll try to keep him alive. It looks like Angel, they don't right through it. They take down the Spectre. KJ eventually will fall to RoboZ, but he's going right back in again. Fighting forward here, they'll go. They'll use the exorcism to save him, being held into
Radiant's
flank.
top
They've had
tower
plenty of
is under
damage. That's a
attack.
double kill now for Costabile. More buybacks coming out, but it's going to take longer to get over there. And this exorcism is just chewing through. RoboZ is going to try to get a couple slides off. Can he do it in time? No, Costabile grabs up that Aegis, grabs up the goodie bag. And they're going to
Refresher
bring the
shard.
fight right back here to Unknown if they hang
Radiant's
around.
top tower is under
Big
attack.
fight win. Mirana died pretty quick at the start of things, but
Có đài bắt ở đây
crucial
không?
thing is they got to chop him down, and when he actually the most important thing was they happened to land an arrow on Spectre while the fight started, so his haunt comes like 5 seconds later than they expected probably, and then Spectre ends up dying, goes to buyback, but then he TP's just running because his haunt's gone, so then he's just not impacting the fight quite as severely as you'd expect. So,
man,
there's a lot of crazy shit that happened in that fight, let me say, but hey, if Spectre goes down to whatever, then yeah, it's gonna be harder to win your fight. He's pretty vulnerable. He doesn't have BKB. He's queued up now. He probably just got like, he probably used Manta or something, and then he used Cold Snap, Solar Crested, or Spirit Vessel or something. Like, that's really hard to play through, even on a Spectre.
No. You know what happened? I love this too. Actually, is that 4DR was waiting next to KJ because I think he suspected that they're gonna go for the haunt. They're always running right at this Oracle, right? Because they know it's so incredibly important. And he was prepared. I believe he hit them with a deafening blast, and I think there was an ice wall that was also followed up. So they just did everything to kind of push them back and slow them. And because of the positioning too, it was very awkward because you had one fight on the high ground, one on the low ground, and one over near the Roche pit.
Yeah, it was very spread for sure.
Very cool.
All the SG cores just feel a little bit more independent with BKBs. Feels like when BKB's up, Unknown just doesn't do anything. Ember especially. Ember doesn't do anything against somebody's BKBs. So those first like 7 seconds of the fight, Ember just doesn't feel that useful. Like the best thing he could do is like interrupt blink daggers as the fight starts, basically. Cooldowns anymore. She's got 2 fights in a row if she wants them.
Has definitely got a lot of possibilities here, and then of course we did get the overwhelming blink completed for Costabile. He's got the Abyssal Blade. He's a big tanky boy right now. So the next fight that's brought to Team Unknown is going to be a particularly scary one. Although we do have the BKB complete for Spectre, but the Abyssal Blade, if that's the target, it's not going to matter. She does have a nullifier as well, though. But it always feels like the initiation generally is coming out from the side of SG. So I don't know how they try to approach this with an aggressive sort of, you even try to do an aggressive haunt right now. I don't think you do, right?
It feels difficult to do so for sure. Like the last couple of fights, I don't know, it just feels like Oracle's so squirrely. He just gets away from almost every pressure on him. Maybe it's because they are limited on disable. Like one of the downsides to Ember is that his disable is you can all play against it. Because it's all like soft stuff. You can pop BKB, you can pop items. Their only stuns are Dragonite stun and Nyx stun, and it doesn't feel like enough to secure those kills on the supports on the backline. So Haunt, while it gives vision, it doesn't quite find the opportunities to get the kills that you need.
Middle barracks are under
attack. It makes every engagement feel really hard for Unknown.
Dire are scanning.
Wandering through, and there's the overwhelming blink we talked about with the call and wish. Oh, he gets mashed up though. Can they finish him off? Do they have the nuke damage? It's looking like the pressure comes in.
Just to make sure he's dead.
Cleaning up over on Wish, who does have buyback. The assault is being brought to the door right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Right kill. It's queuing up Refresher Orb next, so next time Axe gets a big call on somebody, you can see a lot of damage coming from the skies.
Right, here comes the first exorcism here from Tavo.
Is under attack.
The way that everybody else is positioned here. They saw the Wyvern in the bottom lane, so they know that he's not there just yet. The Absolutions are going to work. Wish buying back. Wants to be a part of this fight. They don't want to give this up freely. Winter Blast now trying to clear it up. The Silence over onto Sacred. They'll follow up with the Moonlight Shadow. Tavo just zipping around back and forth. Wants to get as much damage with these Exorcism Butterflies as possible so they can take down this Rex, and they'll be able to do it very easily.
Nothing to say.
Nice. So now they will just sit back and they will not pop Refresher Shard. They're just going to buy time for a bit, or they could pop it and keep going because they've got Aegis. They've got timings that they could potentially exploit here, but interesting to see how this game has changed phases so much, where SG now feels they're comfortable enough in their advantage to siege. Unknown's still looking for a great opportunity if they can find it. That's why Nyx is always positioned a little bit aggressively. He's looking for these kills, but it's hard for him to find the opportunity, and then his team also has to follow him up with those. But again, the single target damage is just kind of crappy. Yeah, Spectre could jump on a guy and help follow that up. but he's their big damage.
Gonna find the Wyvern immediately, and she is blown up. They do a buyback. 90 seconds down. They're going after Sacred next. Fireball gets landed. They're trying to get those light chains off. Not to be able to quite manage it. Costabile, he's a big boy, though. He's running right on in here, managing to drop over that illusionist cape illusion. They just get a couple spins, continue hitting these buildings. Rosie sliding through. Again, they still have that refresher shard if they want to try to pop the exorcism. Feels like they could be for a bit of a bait as they go for Sacred. They hold them in the place of follow-up with the exorcism. But there it is. There's the hawk. The BKB coming up over the back end. They want the kill over on KD, and they're not going to be able to find us. Costabile manages to go get the kill off of Sacred, as he is still just doing so much damage. They've got the exorcism. They're just tearing through the buildings left and right. No DK for 110 seconds now. As Costabile, he's just going to get healed back up. Wait patiently. They do not have the creep wave here in the bottom lane, but they will have creeps in the base. Although Aegis does get reclaimed. Question is, do they still go in on this? They're feeling powerful, I'm guessing. That arrow tossed down, not connecting on anybody. Shivas will get popped by combo. Wants to get some of this damage down if possible. That is the end of the exorcism, though. They have to be very careful. They have a little bit of vision, and they don't have the Dragon Knight, but it feels like SG, they want to play it safe. They want them to come to them if they're going to continue with this battle.
It's just so much harder for Unknown to start the fights. You can see that from the last couple engagements. Axe Call into Arrow, or Axe Call into Silence, into other follow-ups. And
attack.
if you Haunt right now, they've got Radial Deafening Blast as well. They can just disarm all of these Haunt illusions. And while Spectre has good single target kill potential, like, they just didn't get enough kills on the supports to make the fights easy leading up until this moment. So now Spectre actually just feels kited. And somehow Axe has 42,000 net worth, which is insane. He's got 7.4k pass surplus. Spend your money. Buy an Axe, dude. Eat your Axe. It's good.
Dire's bottom tower
The
is under
Hyperstone.
attack.
He's going for the Hyperstone so he can get the Moon Shard. Sliding. Oh, just going to be a little bit off the mark here for Costabile. It falls into place close to that Spike Carapace. The arrow gets tossed out, trying to get a little bit of but occasionally though the dash comes through. Tavo having to be a little bit careful to finish up that Rax though, as they throw out the remnant over here. Who's he thinking about? Tavo going right back in again. Does have the Lotus. Zipping over onto the back line. He wants KJ. He keeps going after this one. Never able really to get his hands on because he wants to use his own ultimate, which won't fall within the bases. Costabile just being allowed to run rampant here as he gets the official. We talked about this, but a beautiful curse coming out. We'll be able to blow up the Olacore, protecting RoboZ's life for the time being. There is a gem dropped over here on deck.
Yeah, they did it.
Mirana dead for 100 seconds, 84 seconds over on Nyx Assassin, but like you said, Purge, they've got those megas.
And that's one of the hard things about these fights is that even when Ember hits the backline and goes for Oracle defends so easily. He just uses Face Eating and Purifying Flame.
Oh my god, they get easily get the Sun Strike. They've done so much damage, plus the meat bodies, and they're gonna try to keep the extra activity. It's too much. They just crazy angles. There is no buyback now. Over here on the Spectre, they're chasing down Chesed. They have the exorcism. Pavo though over on the back line to see the right force. They finally manage to get their hands on KJ, but Sacred now is left all alone on this lovely little island. He's a big old dragon, but nobody loves him, and he gets absolutely slaughtered. 3 dead on the side of Unknown, 2 dead on the side of SG.
Nothing.
They could go back in here if they wanted to. The Mirana and the Oracle being dead is a sad thing, but they are still so powerful. Look at this, they find Robo maybe overwhelming Blink again, and they get these spins off. They need a little bit more damage though. They want to take down this Ever, and by God, they have it. 40 yards over here. With that, being able to use another radio deafening blast. They're going to buy back. They want this kill on 40 yard. They have the vision, but Fuel's coming through. Is it going to be enough? Can they get the kill? 40 yard trying to juke around, but eventually they will be able to find him. And now Costabile, he's just going to spin around and circle. The rest of his team is not alive any longer, so he eventually goes down. But there are a lot of creeps here in the space. They are attacking Chesed. Chesed is not prepared to deal with these, so the rest of Unknown, they've got to lend a hand.
It took some doing, but they finally killed their opponents. They put everything chasing after Invoker, and once Invoker was killed, they had didn't have to worry about as much disable, and they were able to work down Axe as well. But with that said, Axe ran out of mana a long time ago, and I can't help but think that it would have been different if he hadn't ran out of mana. He is buying his Axe now. He's got 10,000 gold on Axe, 6,500 surplus. You don't get much more farm than this. The only thing you can buy after this is what, Boots of Travel level 2 basically. He's all done. items. So, but with that said, Roche is up.
Ooh.
Ag Scepter, Blessing, and Refresher Shard, but Unknown has a lot of pushing to do. They got 45 seconds. We'll see if SG buys back for this, if they're aware of it.
There's a Divine on Robo-Z now. It has hit that point.
Good.
Dyer's middle tower
He
is under
wants
attack.
a Deso as well to give him physical damage, but with the Divine Rapier as
Dyer's
well, he
middle
can
tower
They
absolutely
left Chesson at home. They left Chesson at home to deal with these creeps, and he's struggling. Arrow lands over onto Sacred. They know he's there. Robo-Z immediately trying to find anyone. Does manage to slide over onto Theolacore.
They're gonna let him get it, it looks like. I mean, they're playing in the area, but it's taking time to set up, and they can't run into this.
Apparently Tom was thinking that he wants to go in there. He's got the exorcism.
Refresh
Dyer's
BKB.
middle tower
Fresh
is
for
under
the
attack.
BKB, like you said. Over on the side, though, Theolacore has got the save coming out from KJ. KJ has to be careful, does have the spider legs. They'll use the Moonlight Shadow. They'll go right back in again. Tavo looking for this opening. Will be able to go find himself Angel. The EMP's got to get dropped. Robo-Z over on the back line, so a little bit of a slow over onto Angel. Costabile, though, goes forward. Just going to be able to take out Wish as they get the deafening blast up over on the side. The BKB over on top of these ghosts. They're doing a lot of damage. Can they take down Angel again? Yes, that's going to be the first death. Sacred, though, over here on the side. Getting kind in here by Tavo. Will eventually run out of the Dragon Form. He's next to fall right into the arms of Costabile. He's going to be able to go get follow the through with great mid-shot. BKB coming out before the arms. Go for the hunt. They're going to try to chase down KJ. They should be able to get the Oracle to turn around. Another buyback coming out. The Fizz is coming out. Are they going to be able to take down one of the Fizz? That's a triple kill as the chase is on Angel. They call GG. They know that they cannot win this with the rest of the team all being taken out by them.
Radiant
57-minute absolute slugfest. SG Esports takes it with the axe carry. They played so good in their mid game, covering each other with the Oracle, with their disables, and they pull out the win finally, making Spectre just look like the average carry that she is not. She's really strong. Be scared.
Is indeed very strong, but unfortunately not strong enough by herself to try to withstand what SG had brought to the table. You know, for me, MVP goes out to KJ. The way that he danced around everybody, getting those saves off, getting off, you know, just all of his spells and leading them on a long merry chase. Just incredible. But I know I personally, I need a moment to breathe, guys, after all of those fights. I'm sure Purge would like to take a moment too. So we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to break down game number 3.